the president appears to be getting ahead of himself, using his Twitter feed to try to publicly close the deal on this immigration plan. But the trouble is the newly elected Mexican administration doesn't come into power until the first of the month. White House officials tell me that the negotiations on this are still going forward, but President Trump appears to be trying to put pressure on the new Mexican president before he takes office.
The president's fury over immigration.
We're not letting them come into our country.
Could soon upend rules for asylum seekers in a major change to immigration policy. Officials say the administration is negotiating with Mexico's incoming government to house certain migrants who seek asylum protection. Saturday night, the president declared on Twitter, migrants at the southern border will not be allowed into the United States until their claims are individually approved in court. All will stay in Mexico. The president complains that asylum is too often abused by some who do not qualify.
The asylum system makes a mockery of our immigration system.
President Trump wants to change policy that has allowed asylum seekers to wait inside the U.S. while their cases move through the courts. After he made caravans from Central America an incendiary campaign issue, the president sent signals about this plan Tuesday.
I appreciate what Mexico is doing. They can do more, but I appreciate what they're doing.
U.S. officials caution that legal and operational details must still be worked out. Mexico's new president takes office December 1st. Saturday, the incoming interior minister denied any deal was made. The president repeated his threat to lock down the southern border if necessary.
We will close entry into the country for a period of time until we can get it under control.
So what difference would a week make if the new Mexican administration doesn't come in until December 1st? Well, then I give you Tuesday. There's a runoff election in Mississippi, and this morning the president has already tweeted about his trip to two places in Mississippi tomorrow to campaign for the Republican candidate there. And the first thing President Trump mentions about Cindy Hyde-Smith is that she is tough on the border. Willie?
All right, Kelly O'Donnell traveling with the president in Florida. Kelly, thank you.